Nicky, big 3 days ahead for you and the team here at Seven Barrows. The Unibet Greatwood Hurdle taking centre stage on Sunday, but 2 good afternoons of racing beforehand. Highland was very impressive at the showcase meeting last time. You're up in grade on this occasion. How do you think he'll handle it?
Well, we were sort of pleasantly, I don't say surprised, but very pleasantly impressed, I think, with his performance at Cheltenham at the last meeting. He'd started in a little 2.5 mile novice chase at Sutherland, jumped beautifully and won well. Then things went wrong at Utox. I think the ground was pretty soft. The secret to him is good ground, and 3 miles. And he did that, actually, he won the per temps qualifier at Cheltenham this time a year ago. And that performance, so that, I don't think that was a strong race.
No. It looked almost to sort of fall apart a little bit.
It did a bit,
yeah.
And I thought the handicapper was going to take a very dim view. He was, I don't say he was generous, we got £4. And the silly thing is that the new National Hunt Chase over 3.5 miles is now a 0 to 145. I'd actually love to stay off 144 until March, but I can't do that. He's got to get on and do what he's got to do. And if he did go and win tomorrow, that's actually saying goodbye to the National Hunt Chase, if you like, because you go over 145. If things go wrong and he drops him too, well, you'll be saying, you know, he wants the spring ground, why don't we keep him for it? I don't know. I doubt we do clever things like that because he's here to run and so are they all. He loves this ground. Yeah. And he has technically always been, since the first day, and I think a lot of us can remember schooling for the first time when most horses stop and have a look at what's in front of them. He just was brilliant. And that's the one thing he's done all along. Given 3 miles on good ground and a good fence, he's not a brilliant horse, but he's got all the right attributes.
Yeah. And he obviously, as you said, he likes the track as well. The main one for you tomorrow, though, Nicky, is Jonbon, who runs at 2:20 in the Schlur Chase. This has always been the plan, hasn't it, to start off here and then hopefully on to Sandown after that. Are you pleased with him in the lead of this race? Any problems? Has it all gone swimmingly?
Touch wood, it's all been very good. Yeah, it's gone exactly according to plan. And the boys were weighing the horses yesterday, and he is exactly the same weight as he was this time last year going into the Schlur, which gives me confidence because I think the timing's gone right, the preparation's gone right. Paddy rides him every day, so he is my barometer. Paddy is a notoriously optimistic pilot, but I'm pretty sure...
Which is hard not to be there when you're riding Jonbon.
Yeah, I know,
day.
but he bless him, he's always... Everything he rides is going to win. He'll never get beat if you listen to him. But I love it. I love enthusiasm. And he's always enthusiastic. But he is genuinely... I know he is very pleased with Jonbon. And everything has gone well. He had a spin round Newbury. We schooled him last week. And then once you start doing that, you can wake up very, very quickly. And, you know, he's been a lot... His last 2 bits have been very sharp. He's moving. I mean, I have to say everything's gone right.
There's only 4 runners. Are you slightly concerned that it may prove tactical, or will Nico just
jump
jump?
Yeah, but he loves.
Quite handy.
I mean, I don't say I desperately want to go out there and blitz it first time out. You probably don't. But I mean, if nobody else wants to, he is as happy as you could be bowling along.
Yeah,
loves it. And look what he was like at Sandown last year in the celebration chase. It was just. He set out to knock him out, and it sure did. They weren't going to jump at his pace.
Okay, in the cross-country at 2:55, you're trying something different here, Nicky, with Mr. Coffey. I know we were talking before, he was saying he's always too highly rated, he's got to carry top weight in these novice handicaps. He was actually out the handicap in this race, which is quite ironic, really. But what have you done with him at home? Has he jumped any of these banks and bushes?
Well, not surprising, we have tried something different. You could go down the hunter chase route with him. He's just the most lovely horse. I mean, he has been here for quite some time, and he's been a novice chaser for 3 years. And he still is. He's a maiden over fences after 3 seasons, in which he has run some amazing races and given us all some great times. I mean, no more so than in the Grand National the year before last, when from the canal turn down to the second last, he took off and jumped and jumped and jumped. But he probably paid the price for doing a bit too much too soon. But even so, it was a bit special. You know, I haven't in my life had a lot of cause to sort of get hopeful in the Grand National. So there were 5 or 6 fences there when you actually thought it might happen. He was great, he loved it. And in which case, he's rated 144, I think, somewhere like that. But you'd love to say, please, can I just go and find a nice little race that he can win? But of that rating, there is no such thing. No. I mean, he could run in a novice chase, but you're still going to have the smarty pants, new young novices coming in. I don't know.
He's the sort of horse, though, that you just sort of think could take to it. They go and slightly steadier
We
gallop.
went there last week, and Nico rode him, and we had tremendous fun. He was hysterical, but he loved it. He was very good, straight in. Some of the jumping off those banks, he was coming down from it. He goes up there, and the floors were way down here, and he was coming down from a very big height, and he's a very big horse too. He enjoyed himself, so I'm looking forward to it. I have a suspicious feeling we don't do a lot of the cross countries. I mean, we've been second in the one at Cheltenham before, but I do think probably their first time there will bring them on. The second time they do it, I think that's going to be the day. If he needs the practice tomorrow, we'll be back for December.
Let's look at you've just got the 2 runners on Saturday in the 3 mile handicap hurdle. Quick draw, as I said, switching back to Timber, well handicapped as well off his chase mark.
He is.
Would that run at Wincanton sharpen him up a little bit?
We love him dearly, but we never know what side of bed Quick Draw is going to get out of. And over fences, he has to really get up there, dictate, and be bold. And again, they set off at 1,000,000 miles an hour around Wincanton. He was on the back foot. Then his jumping he makes a bit of a meal of it, and gets himself a bit left behind. Whereas if you could get out in front and really just do his own thing, he's quite hard to pass. I just think that coming back over hurdles might just amuse him and sweeten him up a little bit. And as you say, I think he's 6-7 pounds lower over hurdles than he is over fences. So he probably, I don't know if he's well handicapped, he's better handicapped. It's possible. I think he'll enjoy it. I mean, he wants 3 miles and he must have good ground.
And Captain Morgs is in the same race. He's also a few pounds lower over hurdles.
But he's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Morgs is great. He's got bags of ability. But again, you never know which day. I mean, it must be a punter's nightmare. But we haven't got a clue which Morgs is going to come in. The good one is a very good horse and he will win. He won a very good chase at Aintree last year. That got his chase mark put up. And actually James rode him, and it was a brilliant ride. He just went round the back, hunted round. I don't think the horse ever knew he was in a race. And he just sort of snuggled him in at the last minute. And great riding, and the horse was hosed before he knew he'd been anywhere. Again, I think he'll enjoy coming back to hurdles. So we'll, see how we go.
See how he goes. Okay. 2 runners for you on Sunday, Nicky. You've got one, Peaky Boy in the 2.5 mile novice handicap at 145. Obviously, looked to be a horse of immense potential over hurdles. You've not wasted any time in putting him over the big ones.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether this was going to be the call at the beginning of the season, but he only had 2 runs over hurdles last season, both at Cheltenham, both 2 mile 5. We didn't go too ambitious, but he won them both very impressively. Yeah, he looked a very smart horse both times. Basically, with a lot of the horses we've had from last year, I do think this is a strong bunch of novice chasers. And we started early on when we started schooling them over fences, long before we were on the grass, we have our all-weather is a carpet schooling ground, and we got them all going there, and to be fair, nearly all of them found this enjoyable, good fun. They looked very good. To be fair, the only person we asked the question of was Lucia to see if she'd jump a fence, and she said no. I mean, it didn't stop her anything, but her technique wasn't what we were looking for, whereas all these others have looked, from then looked, okay, we're all going to have to go and do it. And our problem at the moment is sorting them out, who goes what and where. And with the ground as quick as it is, it's been pretty frustrating because there were an awful lot of novice chases going by. And I know everybody's seeing them go by with 3 or 4 runners in them. We're dying to run in them. Desperate to, but on this ground you just can't do it. So we've had to tiptoe our way through the early skirmishes over fences, if you like. I mean, I'd like to have run the likes of Iberico Lord on Saturday in the novice chase, but not on this ground. I think this also will be fine, but some like it a bit softer than others. No, he's good. I mean, it'll be very interesting. He could be a high-class horse. We're going to see on Sunday.
So should we read anything into the fact that he is your only runner in the race, and because obviously you had Lucky Place and Baloo also entered?
Yeah, Lucky Place again, ground. And Baloo, he did very nicely at Ascot. He was really good.
Yeah.
Not a mad keen on debutants going to Ascot first time. Having said that, I'm not mad keen on Cheltenham, to be honest with you, as an introduction to fences. It's a difficult track, as you can imagine. It's got twists and turns, and if you go to Newbury's or Kempton's or something like that, there are no complicated fences. They've got to concentrate pretty hard around Cheltenham. But Baloo, no, he could wait. That was only a fortnight ago. He was very good at Ascot. And yeah, as you're right to say, Lucky Place, I'm dying for him to come out. Just can't do it on this ground.
Well, you won the Unibet Greatwood Hurdle last year with Iberica Lord. You've got one runner this year in the same colours, of course, of JP McManus, under control. I think it's only her second run in a handicap, actually. She ran in the Galway Hurdle last time. She's off 137. How well treated do you think she is off that mark?
I sort of thought she was reasonably handicapped, but then you see that she's second top weight, and giving weight to all bar one, which I don't know whether it tells you. I mean, there's a lot of very talented young horses in here. I think this is where the race is coming from. But it's going to have to come from below, or not at all. If she or the top weight can win, fine. But there's some very unexposed young horses coming in here that we've got to give weight to, and I think that's where the problems will be. How well handicapped? Yes, as I say, I don't think she's overburdened at 137. The only handicap she ran in was probably the Jerry Fielden first time out last year, and then she won a handicap at Kempton and at Sandown the year before, at the back end on the last day, a novice handicap, which is very, very impressive. When she's good, she's very, very good. I don't quite know what the net result of the Galway Hurdle was. She travelled very well and then didn't really seem to finish a race off. She went out a little bit tamely, I have to say. But her work's been very good, and we're very happy. I think it's well worth a shot. The Unibet Great Hurdle is it's one of the big pre-Christmas competitions. Iberico was great at it last year, and he went on to win at Newbury as well in the Betfair. But those are two very lucrative prizes. So let's try and get the first leg done now.